NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? You're right, you should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's hump day. Wednesday, February 5. And there's 38 hours to go in the trade deadline at this point? Chaos is about to reign. Can't wait. I'm your host, James Clements. This is NBA Straya. You can also see me in NFL Straya. Big Super Bowl coming up. We're having our live show next Monday at the Catfish in Fitzroy. Should be awesome, just saying. You can also see me on the final NBL Supercoach show, The Panel, for the season. Go check that out. It was an absolute cracker. And the AFL Today show. Very fun times. Here in the fancy studio, we are talking another trade for Dallas. Bit smaller scale, but we'll talk about that in a second. Joel Embiid came back. Patty Mills made his Clippers debut. Portland are a wagon. It's all going on. But the biggest one for me is we've got 3 trade ideas that could feasibly happen. One more outlandish than the others. But the biggest one is, will Kevin Durant be a Phoenix Sun this time tomorrow? Maybe. It's all chaos is about to... Literally, as I'm taping this, I'm just assuming I'll get some sort of notification that he's been traded. But either way, we're still going to punch through today's Hump Day show with the NBA Straya Game Wraps. That's on night 4, mate, no mate, Spud on the night, bet on Lonzo Ball. We've got some Yannazi, Unpopular Opinion of the day, and OUTBACK Takehouse. We were serving up a flame girl take. There's a cracking NBA Australian player watch, because we had a bunch of the Aussies in there today. And we'll do a quick Shane Hill shoot your shot before we have a huge pick and preview. There's a big slate tomorrow out of nowhere. It's like, we're going to load it up. The trade deadline, we're going to have everybody playing as well. It's like, but what happens if they get traded? Adam Silver's like, I just want all the eyeballs, Jim. Okay, that's enough out of you. All right, let's get into it. Episode 1201 techniques of NBA Straya. I can't believe I forgot to mention that the 1200 techniques dude was the Tim Tam genie. Talk about dropping the ball, Jim. Jesus. Anyway, let's get into it. 1201 NBA Straya. Let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek.
This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better. Well, you better watch out for the trade deadline attack. There is a lot of smoke, and when there's smoke, I've heard, there's usually Snoop Dogg. No, there's fire. It's going to be interesting. This trade deadline has been chaotic as hell already. And it's only going to get more nutty tomorrow. Should be fun as. All right, let's get into today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Straya with the daily. It's a whip around, isn't it? We got another trade. This one actually did involve players. Dallas and Philly, who were playing against each other today. So basically, Caleb Martin and Q Grimes could just swap jerseys and jump in there. But that's right. Caleb Martin, is noted Boston Celtic killer, has been traded to Dallas in exchange for Q Grimes and Philly's own 2025 second rounder back to the 76ers. So I was asked, why would they do this, Jim? And I said, well, they didn't want to pay Q. Well, they weren't entirely sure if they wanted to pay Q Grimes. They have cost-controlled Caleb Martin, slightly bigger wing, been around longer. They're just going all in and just old guys now, seemingly Dallas. And that's fine, I guess. My biggest problem with Caleb Martin is that he only plays good against Boston. That's the only team he's good against. So Dallas better hope they get back to the finals and play the Celtics. I'm just saying. If they did, however, that would be awesome. Let's go. Outside of that, there's not a giant amount of other news. Joel Embiid came back, had a triple-double. Messed around, got a triple-double. Outside of that, really, we don't have Kevin Durant playing tomorrow, which is interesting. De'Aaron Fox is going to make his Spurs debut hopefully tomorrow when they play the Hawks. That'll be fun. And outside of that, I mean, you sort of we had the Luka introductory press conference, and he was kind of sitting there going, kind of wish Kobe was here to see it. And you're like, yeah, okay. Also, he's like, yeah, I don't know, I just feel a bit weird. Really, Luka? So is everybody else. It's chaos. My favorite sort of thing from Luka and the noise today as well is like, hey, don't forget, they can't give him the $345 million Supermax anymore. So, look, he will probably explore his options. Like, there's no guarantee he's going to extend with the Lakers. It's like, that would be the funniest outcome. If he was like, yeah, this Los Angeles thing, getting in the shade, banging hot actresses all the time. It's not for me. I go to Sacramento. Like, come on, let's go. That would be like him bailing on the Lakers would be the funniest outcome. But still. The other funny outcome would be LeBron bailing on the Lakers this summer, declining his player option and like going to Dallas to hang out with AD again and his best mate Kyrie. Let's see that happen. Just saying. But with that in mind, Kevin Durant. So, as I said at the top, where there's smoke, there's fire. There is a lot of talk around Kevin Durant right now to the point where the Warriors are apparently just like very, very, very interested in chasing KD and making, for a Happy Days reunion. The Mavericks are apparently interested in trying to get KD to go with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. At which point you'd go, for what? Oh, it's like, here's the Lakers 2029 draft pick. Remember that one that we just got? And here's some other things. And you're like, oh, don't know if that's enough for KD. Just saying. But outside of that, there was an interesting one. It was like, there's an increasing belief that if Phoenix can't get Jimmy Butler, then they will make a Durant deal. So, basically, they're just giving the old rub and tug. It's like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. Check it out. We'll see what happens with the Suns. Either way, we do know that KD will not be playing tomorrow in OKC. Maybe OKC will trade for him. Maybe Houston will. I don't know. Maybe Memphis. Let's go. Kevin Durant, will he be a Sun? We'll probably know a little bit later tomorrow. That's exciting. To a degree. But I've got a couple of other ideas. How about a couple of trade predictions between now and then? We've still got a big whack of time to sort of keep all this rolling out. I think KD ends up in Golden State. I think Kuminga ends up in Milwaukee with like 1 or 2 picks. I think Middleton ends up in Miami and Butler ends up with Phoenix. And Phoenix are like, how did we just screw ourselves? Phoenix trading KD for Jimmy Butler is like, I don't know. It's like me trading an old mate which would never happen for like, I don't know, the crummy ex who is just like the worst person you've ever met kind of vibes, right? You just don't want to do it. What are you doing, Phoenix? Don't do that one. How about Zion to Brooklyn? Can we make that? Can we manifest that? You know that Zion wants to be in a bigger market. Brooklyn is out there going, we've got D'Lo, we've got 1 million picks. Do you want some? New Orleans are like, ugh, what are we? We just don't know. Let's get Zion to Brooklyn. Just really get this like New York-Brooklyn rivalry going again. And the other one is I think we might see Jonas Valanciunas end up on the Lakers just for a bag of chips and whatever else. It'd be very funny if Rui Hachimura ended up back in Washington. He's like, oh man, I hated it there. But Austin Reeves, like, essentially the Lakers need a big man. Rob Pelinka's like, oh yeah, look, it's a bit dry out there, the market, so we might have to wait till the offseason. Bullshit. Yeah, let's see if Jonas gets to the Lakers for something in a couple of seconds. Where do we think Vooch ends up? Because I don't feel like he's going to stick around Chicago. Maybe he ends up in Memphis. They could use another actual big. Vooch in New Orleans. They've got Eve Missy and very little else. Vooch, where else could he end up? I don't know, Golden State if they don't get KD. That's probably where he lands, right? They're like, we need like an actual big, as long as we keep Johnny Comeback and Kuminga, we're all good. And away we go. So I reckon Vooch ends up in Golden State if they don't get KD. Failing that, maybe Memphis, maybe New Orleans. I don't know. What other team has got like a million picks and could actually sort of use a big man? I mean, Utah probably don't need it. OKC probably don't. OKC might just like pull the trigger on just like getting one other body. But they've got a million. They got more picks than God. What are they going to do with them all? It's ridiculous. Anyway. Let's do some game wraps from today really, really quickly. Game wraps. Today we had the Mavericks fall short in a comeback attempt, 116-118, because Kyrie had 34, Maxey had 33, a wildly entertaining game in the end. One of those great ones where you're like, oh my God, are Dallas going to win this? Are Philly going to blow this? It was neck and neck down the stretch. They were literally trading buckets. Najee Marshall is an absolute weapon. And then Philly just eke it out with Joel Embiid right at the end, and they just hold on. It was a really, really entertaining game. I was like watching the first half of this going, and then it got better. Very, very fun. So you have the 34 for Kyrie, Clay, 12 points. Dante, I was talking about him in the Strand Player Watch, was really good. And Max Christie makes his debut as a Mav and had 15, 9, and 3. Not bad. Good size. Sixers, you got 33 for Maxey, 29, 11, and 10 for Joel Embiid. And how about Gershon Yabusele, 19, 8, and 4. He's crushing it. That's a randomly good win for the Sixers, who are now 20 and 29. The Mavs dropped to 26 and 25 and need Anthony Davis to come back ASAP. Right. Then we had the Celtics-Cavaliers game. This was sick. The Cavs couldn't hit a bloody shot to start the game when they start 3 of 18. It was brutal. Boston were kicking the crap out of them. They're up 20, and you're like, before you could blink, basically, and you're like, oh, this is a bit different to the last time these dudes played. And then, I don't know, Cleveland did not go quietly into the night. They stuck around. They kept fighting. 112-105, Boston end up winning it. Weirdly enough, they get 7 made buckets for Tatum, for Zinger, extreme Zinger meal, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. They all made 7 shots. It was weird. 22, 4, and 7 for Tatum, 20 for White, 19 and 7 for Zinger, 16 for JB, 31 for Donnie Mitchell. Garland had 25. Mobley couldn't hit a shot. Jarrett Allen had the 17 and 18, but they just didn't get enough from everybody else. My sweet baby had a bit of a rough one, but I mean, Cleveland, these will be the games that sort of like stick in your mind, right? As you go into the playoffs, it's like, yeah, they're 40 and 10. But are they good? Like, Jesus, maybe. I don't know. Boston moved to 36 and 15, looking good again. I think they've won 4 on the trot. What else? We had a Houston-Brooklyn game that ended in absolute chaos. 99-97 because the Nets scored 6 points in 9.5 seconds. They went full Reggie Miller. What was it? Keon Johnson hit a 3. Was it 97-94? They steal the inbounds. Tap it out to D'Lo. D'Lo nails a 3. He hadn't hit a shot all night. And boom, they win the game. 99-97. Houston have had a really, really rough time of it against Brooklyn. Lost 2 games against them in the last 4 days. And they've lost all 3 of their games against Brooklyn and the Nets Brooklyn and the Knicks in their last 3 games. They've lost all of them. It's like Houston started drinking their own bathwater a little bit. I don't know. It was weird. 24 and 20 for Alpi Şengün. Not enough because Jalen Green couldn't hit a shot. He went 5 of 14. They got 4 of 11 from Dylan Brooks. Not helping. Alpi's 24 and 20 was just insane. But Brooklyn, it was like 22 for Keon Johnson, including that 3. D'Lo goes for 3 of 15, but gets the massive shot late. 14 for Nick Claxton. And away they go. That's a crazy win. It was so stupid. Brooklyn is 17 and 33. What are you doing, Nets? Keep tanking. Tank harder. Houston, 32 and 18. Weird one. The Knicks beat the Raptors in Toronto. This is the one we went back and forth on yesterday. And then I was talking about a bit of an RJ Barrett game. I was like, oh, yes, wait, concussion protocol. So he didn't actually play in this. And then I think we're all doing – I don't think we mentioned this in the picks this morning, but we're on the Knicks anyway yesterday. And they covered by a half point, 121-115. They hold on against a spirited Raptors team who got 23 and 5 from Scoob. They got 14 from Grady Dick and 16 from Jamal Sheed. Like, just chaos game. Whereas the Knicks, 28 and 5 from Brunson, 27 and 20 from Karl Anthony Towns, 17s from Precious and Mikal Bridges, 15 from Hart, and just enough from the bench. Like Ariel Hawk-Porty, bang, the former NBL big man, love that. He had 6, 5, and 2, 7 for Cam, bring the pain. They hold on. That's a big win for the Knicks. I was, a bit dubious about that one. Anyway, they win at 34. They're now 34 and 17, 16 and 34 for the Raps. Miami lose in Chicago thanks to a massive comeback from the Bulls in the fourth quarter. They outscored them 39-21 and run right over the top of them to win at 133-124. It was chaos, absolute chaos. Duncan Robinson couldn't hit a shot. 23, 8, and 4 for Bam. Kalal Wera, 17 and 12. He is awesome, the young big man. And 23, 8, and 9 for Tyler. There goes my hero. But yeah, I don't know. 20 for Jovic, 14 for Jaime Jaquez. But you got to stop Chicago from doing stuff. What are you doing? Chicago, if you're going to get into a shootout with them, they're in with a chance every time. They got 21 and 9 for Ayo Dosunmu. They got 22 and 7 for Kobe White. Vooch gave him 12 and 11. But our man, Josh Giddey, giddy up. He had 24, 5, and 7, crushed at 25 for Booz Ellis. I was saying Booz Ellis didn't miss a shot. We're going to talk about him later, but 10 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 4 from 3. Absolutely unreal on his way to 24 points. They shot 52.5%, 46% from 3, 19 of 41. The Bulls beat the Heat. Heat dropped to 24 and 24. That is a massive kick in the dick for the Heat. And the Bulls, 22 and 29. What are they doing? No one knows. The Lakers kicked the shit out of the Clippers at the Intuit Dome in a battle of LA, 122-97. This game was notable for a couple of things. LeBron was awesome. Harden was shit. Bronny hit his first ever 3 in the NBA and also missed 2 free throws so that everyone in there got free chicken. And Patty Mills made his LA Clippers debut. Took an awesome Patty Mills charge, missed all 3 of his shots. It was all going on at the Intuit Dome. Luka was there sitting on, the bench hanging out with LeBron talking shit, probably about his son. He's like, hey, your son is very bad, no? LeBron's like, yeah, he's fucking shit. The younger one's even better. Either way, the Lakers get 26, 8, and 9 from LeBron James. Reeves had 26 and 9 as well. They got also, 20 from Rui Hachimura. Dalton Connect could barely miss. He had 14. The Clippers were just bad. Norm had 20. They got 7 and 9 from James Harden. And Zoobs had 8 and 10. And that was my entire thing for picking the Clippers yesterday. It's like Zoobs should absolutely feast against this small Lakers team. And he just didn't. Like, he and Harden should have just eaten up this Lakers team like they were like, I don't know, a dinner at James Harden's house. Or basically eat it up like it's James Harden at the strip club. Bring me more wings. More wings. Kawhi had 11 and 6 and played 22 minutes. That's a curb stomping. Lakers are now 29 and 19. They're ahead of the Clippers, who are 28 and 22 and just looking a bit, how you going all of a sudden, having lost to the Raptors and the Lakers the last 2 games. Just a bit worrisome. And then finally, my favorite team in the NBA right now, the Portland Trail Blazers, 112, smashed Indy in the fourth quarter, 89, ran over the top of them. This was a really, really close game until the fourth quarter. And basically the second half where they scored 67 points, the Blazers, and just kicked the shit out of the Pacers, who were like kind of there and thereabouts, but then just not. It was nuts. The Blazers just kept them arm's length the entire time. Tell you what, Siakam 16 and 6, 12 for Benny Mathurin, 17 for Nembhard. Miles Turner returns. He has 9 and 2. And Tyrese Halliburton didn't trouble the scorers, went 0 for 3 in 25 minutes. It was crazy. Whereas the Blazers got 22 from Simons, 20 from Jeremiah Grant, 17s each from Scoot and Shaden. That's a smashing. I love this Blazers team. I talked about it on yesterday's show. You should be watching them. They're weird, they're fun, they're janky, they're great. They're 22 and 29 now. The Pacers 28 and 21. So, for context, the 22 and 29 Portland Trail Blazers are now only 4 games out of the 10 spot where the Warriors are. They're alive, baby! Let's go, Portland. All right. Let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Let's go the big men. So we did, I think, was it yesterday or the day before? We had like a bunch of point guards. Might have been yesterday. How about the big men today? Joel Embiid, 29, 11, and 10 in his return. He shot 12 of 23. He was fantastic. Karl Anthony Towns was absolutely shredding for the Knickerbockers against the Raptors. He had 27 and 20, and Alpi Şengün with 24 and 20 for him as well. Not bloody bad. That's a good one. And, also honorable mention, I guess, to D'Lo for hitting the game winner, but jeez, he also stunk out most of the rest of the game. So there you go. But Embiid returning and like just going, all right, cool. Yeah, I was a bit afraid because I didn't want to get traded, so I thought I'd be pretty good. So, all right, lit a fire under him. Spud of the night.
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. Could also add Bam Adebayo to the big men. He had the 23, 8, and 4, but they did lose and it just wasn't quite enough. Tyrese Halliburton got Kamari'd. It's Kamari'd? Yeah. Sounds like someone just doing some doughies in a Woolies car park. You got Kamari'd. That's all right. Tumani Kamara just shut him down. 0 of 3 in 25 minutes. 0 points in 25 minutes. Tyrese Halliburton. Need a bloody Caitlin Clark watching him. 0 of 5 for my sweet baby, Karis LeVert. And I don't know, there was a bunch of other spuds. I think we got a 1 of 6 in there. 0 of 5 for sweet baby. You got 2 of 12 for James Harden. You got 1 of 6 for Drew Holiday. Terry Rose, probably better on his own unders, went 2 of 12. 3 of 15 for D'Lo before he hit that game winner. Absolute chaos gear. And Mobley went 3 of 14 as well. There was an interesting one that got thrown out there too. So Chris Dunn made 2 threes back on January 2nd. You might remember Chris Dunn. 2 of 3 back on January 2nd. Since then, he's gone 1 of 21 on threes. He went 0 of 4 today. Yeesh. That's bloody brutal. That's some Spud of the Year territories. I'm just saying. Working on a bloody masterpiece here, Chris Dunn. All right. How about old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Kyrie Irving. I'm just grieving. I'm just grieving. It's just sad. We lost our Slovenian president. I'm just, it's the business. It's the nature of the beast. Have a sook. We get it. I'm just really sad. It's like, ya? Feels like this is all for show. Just saying. Also, Bronny James, it felt like when they were cheering for his first ever NBA 3, it felt very much like, there he goes. He hit a 3 for the first time all season. And then he missed 2 free throws. Just amazing gear from Bronny. Pantsing of the night's an easy one. Hey, ever seen a flame-grilled zinger burger? Yes, many times, obviously. Just look at me. But also today when Donnie Mitchell yammed on the zinger, that was just spesh. V-spesh. It was a really good one too. He sort of just cocked it back and went wha-bang. And then finally, better than Lonzo Ball / Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody. Lonzo went 2 of 9 today, 1 of 7 from 3. There are reports that Chicago do want to sort of keep him around, but he is on a very large expiring contract, $21.3 million. So Lonzo could be on the trading block. I don't know. I still kind of like, if you're Chicago, you sort of want to see what you've got with Lonzo and Gids and see what happens maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting setup. And obviously, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Lonzo. It doesn't take much to get past him today. How about, was Bronny James better than Lonzo? Bronny ends up with, 3 points, 1 assist, 1 steal in 6 minutes. We're going to go with, instead, Dalton Connect, who had 14 points, went 6 of 9. Nice from the floor and 2 of 4 from downtown. Was a bit of a weapon. And then we could also just mention like all the young dudes on Portland because they all kicked ass.
Like, Denny Avdija was a bit quiet today, but at the same time, they got 22 from Anthony Penny-Simons. They got 17 for Shaden Sharp, 17, 8, and 5 from Scoot. And they are all better than Bronny James and Lonzo Ball. All right, let's take a quick break. Be back with some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Jesse B, also an addendum to his one yesterday. He's like, I know this is pushing a bit. Dyson Daniels might be the best defender I've ever seen. Fuck me. He doesn't just do it sometimes. He does it all game, every game. Yeah, nah, yes. And this is probably one of my favorite things about his sneaky candidacy for Defensive Player of the Year is that he is just wildly disruptive on the perimeter in a way that very few players have, as Jesse points out, ever been. Like, he is causing that much havoc that you're like, oh, God. Like, we just, as I mentioned, Tamani Kamara, right? Just absolutely shut down Tyrese Halliburton. Dyson's doing that on the reg as well. So if you're not watching Hawks games because the arse has fallen out of their season, just saying, keep an eye on Dyson. He is still crushing it. Jez Oz had another good one. I actually have another one that I kind of pinched, but I don't mind it. Should Phoenix offer KD to OKC for Chet and picks? Yeah, nah. Gives them the boost they need to win now and gives Phoenix a future. Plus, given the win now move Dallas have made, they could use the boost. Yeah, nah. I can see it from Phoenix's point of view. If I'm Phoenix, I'm like, fucking yeah. Yep, sick. We'll take Chet right now and the picks for KD. He comes home. Boom. The problem... Well, I mean, OKC have also got 1 million fucking picks. And if you really just want to go, here's a few of our chips in, we may as well go get Vooch or Jonas Valanciunas. Or how about Nick Claxton? Like, just something like another big who can help protect the rim a little bit, part with another pick or two. Go get KD in exchange for Chet and a pick or two. I'm just saying, I actually don't mind this one from Jez for both Phoenix and for OKC. I also, as I mentioned on, was it yesterday's Outback Takehouse, KD back to OKC. Just fucking book that in. It's the only way he completely sort of rehabilitates his image as a fucking loser who jumps around from place to place in order to win. It's a bit rough, Jim. I know. Outside of that, we did our power rankings today as well, so you can go check those out. The video will be up at some point. The other big one is like the Mavs chasing KD. Would you want KD with Kyrie and Anthony Davis? Yeah, nah. I mean, at some point, if you're going all in the way you are, like, why not go all the fucking way in, right? Like, go get, like, the problem is, how do you make a KD deal work for Dallas, I think, is the craziest part. Like, I kind of think it'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be gnarly. I think it'd give them a pretty decent chance of having a crack at the title, but you're probably giving up, like, all the other bits of your team that gives you a shot at sort of surrounding them with, like, half-decent talent and actually get you through some playoff rounds. So it would be kind of funny, but at the same time, don't you kind of want to see what KD and Kyrie and AD look like for now with the role players? Just saying. Anyway, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I am sort of... Look, I go back and forth on this. I don't like what the new CBA has done to the trade markets for these players, right? I feel like it's depressed a lot of the sort of, I don't know, the fun parts of like making trades and moving things around, because if you're in the, tax apron and all this sort of shit, there's so many limitations on how you can and can't match salaries of people going out and people coming in, all this sort of shit, right? And it just blows my mind that it's like for some reason in the CBA, both the teams and the Players Association agreed to all this shit without going, hang on a second. As the players, we want to be able to move around more freely to get more money from different places or play teams off against each other. And teams are like, yeah, but we want to make it harder for you to demand a trade and be able to fuck off. Meanwhile, they're trading like fucking Luka for AD, right? So, I know, I feel like it should be much more of a free-for-all, and it's sort of being proven out that it doesn't even need to be. So, I think the unpopular opinion of the day is I think it should be more of a free-for-all, even though that goes against like my better nature of like, I kind of prefer it when teams and fans get to fucking have a dude like Luka for 15 years, 20 years in their life, right? I much prefer that aspect than like Luka to the Lakers and fucking, here we go. What's going to happen on the next big trade? But I don't know. Even KD on OKC, it still fucking shits me that he went to the Warriors of all fucking places, you know? But speaking of which, let's do Outback Takehouse. It's Wednesday at Outback. You know what that means? Oh, yes. Last night, the old doggo managed to snag himself some sort of like, I don't know, owl, tawny frogmouth thing. Yeah, bloody good. Because all we did once we woke up and found it was like, oh, geez, better check that over the bloody barbie and grill her up. Bit gamey, but bloody good. That's right, tawny frogmouths only at Outback. That's today's Hump Day special. And today's flame grilled take is our old little fella stats guy says, look, judging from what you saw from the Lakers today, they don't even need Luka. The Lakers should trade Luka to somebody else right now. Only at Outback. I did tell him to shut up, but that was pretty funny. Just imagine what you could get for Luka if you rob Pelinka. But I also enjoyed the one that Matt Million sent through. His point was, hear it out. LeBron plays out his contract with the Lakers, comes off the books. Lakers work the phones, work some back channels, convince Wemby to not sign his rookie extension, and then go, hang on. Hey, Wemby, do you want to come play with Luka in LA? Bang. Suddenly they've got cap space. Wemby's suddenly available. And Adam Silver's like, yes, Wemby. Yes, Wemby. We need you on the Lakers. That's Adam Silver having a moment. But Matt Million just going, look, there's plenty of good players post 2026, 27 coming off like other teams, like their contracts are expiring, have a crack. I'm like, ooh. Wemby being the first one to like not sign the rookie extension or doing like a Jalen Green sort of thing where Jalen Green does like the shortened one would be pretty funny. For him to end up in LA after all of that would be hilarious. All right, let's take a quick break. Come back with Australian Player Watch right after this.
This is Matthew Delvedova and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Straya's Daily Straya Player Watch for Hump Day, Wednesday, February 4. Tell you what, pretty good one because we got Patty Mills debuting for the LA Clippers, becoming the very first Australian to play an actual NBA regular season game for the LA Clippers. That's good. What wasn't good is the fact that he didn't score and went 0 of 3 from the floor. He did take a very Patty Mills-esque charge, which is very nice. He went 0 of 3, all of which were from downtown, but 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block for Patty in a huge blowout loss to the Lakers. They've got Luka watching on. It was absolute chaos, and Patty Mills got out there. Good on him. Outside of that, we also had a couple of Aussies going at each other where Johnny Furphy and Duop Reith in the same game as the Indiana Pacers got rolled 89-112 in Portland. Johnny Furphy, old Tins they call him, he got out there for 4 minutes. Did 4 minutes of cardio, zeros across the board. He was, slugged with 1 anti-Strayan foul as well, which is rubbish. But the flip side is Duop, he absolutely crushed it. He played, 2 minutes and scored 5 points. It was a huge game for Duop. That was awesome. 2 minutes, 5 points, 1 or 2 from downtown, 2 or 2 at the line. He was, 5 points in 2 minutes is just chaos. per 36 numbers. Let's go. Come on, do it. Outside of that, we had Dante Exum against Philly. It was a really, look, this is one of the sort of, I don't know, Aussie upsides, I guess, of the Luka Doncic trade, is that Dante becomes way more important for the Mavs, to the point where on NBA Straya we have posited the very simple idea that they traded Luka because they knew Dante was coming back. I'm just saying. But he played 20 minutes today against Philly. He had 14 points and 4 assists to go with a steal and a rebound. Shot 6 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 2 from downtown, and 2 of 2 at the line. Not bad from Kangaroo Kobe, a.k.a. the Tarneet Terror. Outside of that, we also had a really, really good game from Josh Giddey. Giddy up! He was fantastic. Was the Yarraville Yahoo. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal for the Mop-Top Mamba. He had 2 turnovers. He shot 8 of 14. Delish. 6 of 8 from the free throw line, which is always very nice for Josh. And 2 of 5 from downtown. Bang, he goes. And more importantly, the Bulls are 4-0 this year when Josh Giddey goes 25-5 in a game. Not bad. And there you go. We also got a did not play coach's decision for Ben Simmons against Houston. And in that same game as well, no Jock Landale again. He was sick, so he copped a did not play coach's decision while in New York. So he's missed both the New York games as our man Jock. Hopefully he's feeling okay. And there you go. That is the Aussie Player Watch for today, Wednesday, February 6th. All right, there you go. There's the Australian Player Watch. How about a quick Shane Hill Shoot Your Shot, Light 'em Up award? We just want to give this to Matthias Buzelis. He's awesome. Because I mentioned this at the top today. He goes 24 points, 10 of 10 from the floor, and 4 of 4 from downtown. He also threw in 2 blocks just for good measure. He became the first rookie since Darren Collison. Wow. Remember Darren Collison? Former Clipper, Pacer, walked away from the game. Like, just sure, man. First rookie since Darren Collison with 10-plus attempts and not missing in a game. First rookie to do that. That's a throwback. Not bloody bad on you, Buzelis. That is also a Shane Hill Shoot Your Shot, Light 'em Up award because you're going 10 for 10, baby. You're not missing. That's bloody good. And how about a quick great moment in NBA Straya stat history?
Great moments in NBA Straya stat history.
Well, this is very simple because it's just Patty Mills making his debut for the Clippers, which we just talked about in the Australian Player Watch. But just to clear it up, like Joe Ingles was on the Clippers, was cut before a season, right? So still cut in preseason. Never played an actual game for the Clippers. In the older days, Leonard Copeland Clippers, but never represented Australia. Like, here we are. Patty Mills becomes the first Aussie to play an actual NBA regular season game for the LA Clippers, the final team out there to not have an Aussie ever play for them. You might remember we had Miami were one of the last on the list. Patty played for them. Atlanta, same sort of thing. We also now have Dyson Daniels on Atlanta, so that's all good. Memphis was always the janky one. Jack White, friend of the program, jumped on there, played for them as well. Who are the other sort of weird ones? Charlotte, Mangok Methiang. He got out there for Charlotte. And, of course, now we've got Josh Green on there anyway. Pelicans were obviously Dyson Daniels drafted there. And, yeah, we managed to get one in every single bloody NBA franchise. Apart from my beloved Seattle Supersonics, of course, which just breaks my heart. But Indy, they get Johnny Furphy this year. Very, very cool. And there you go. You got Orlando, they got Joe Ingles last year. We have an Aussie having represented every single team in the NBA. That's awesome. That is a great moment in NBA Straya stat history. Patty Mills, first LA Clipper Aussie. Bang. All right, let's do a bit of quick of a game day ball. No, yeah, game day ball or game day Twitter check-in. Should we do that? I think we ought to. See what Patty's been up to. New story. There we go. Who's pulling up to the Intuit Dome tonight? It's the LA Clippers posting, and it's a picture of Patty with Nick Batum. That's nice. Oh, what about Jock? Oh, Houston Rockets said Jock Landale returns tonight, but then he didn't play. So, okay, sure. Good one. That's cool. All right, let's get into it. Let's do a bunch of game previews for a huge Thursday. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, pretty good. Had a great, love the NBL show today. Talking all things Supercoach for your round 20. Go check that out. But today we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 7 on the picks. Bloody good. Just saying. But I think there's so many games tomorrow. It's ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But I hope we back this one up. Charlotte host Milwaukee. It is our Algonquin for the good land. It has not really been the good land of late for the Bucks. They've just been very, very meh. They've lost 4 on the trot. They lost to Portland, the Spurs, Memphis, and the Thunder. Now they get a game against the Hornets in Charlotte. They should kick the crap out of them, right? Should. They are 9.5-point favorites. I'm going to go the Bucks. I think Giannis goes absolutely hammer and tongs. The weird thing is if like Middleton gets traded or something and it just throws him into a bit of a tizzy, maybe they're missing some other guys. Just keep an eye on that one for tomorrow for the trade deadline. If they've got their dudes, we're going the Bucks. Cleveland on a back-to-back. They play in Detroit. Bit of a tough one, obviously. But you feel like the Cavs, with the size of Jarrett Go-the-Throw Allen, Evan Mobley, and those two guards, and their, sort of makeshift wings, they're 4.5-point favorites on the road in Detroit. The Pistons are solid. Pistons are good. 4.5 to plus 4.5. I just don't know if I can trust my beloved Pistons to get by them. So we're going to go the Cavs. Atlanta host the San Antonio Banderas Spurs. You know that Dyson Daniels is out there going, yeah, Darren Fox. Yeah, it'd be a real shame if someone shut him down in his first game as a Spur. I'm going to go Atlanta, plus 5.5. They've got Trey. They've got Dyson. They've got Onyeka Okongwu. You know that Wemby's going to just go off. That's fine. But I don't know. DeAndre Hunter's been playing pretty well. Zachary Rissache going up against his mate Wemby. That'd be pretty interesting. I don't mind the Hawks plus 5.5. Spurs might win this, but I think it's very close. Washington go to Brooklyn. Now the Wizards, obviously, a couple of wins. Well, yeah, a couple of wins, isn't it? They beat the Raptors the other day too. On a little bit of a roll. After losing 16 games, they've won 2 straight. They beat the Wolves. They beat the Hornets. I think they beat the Nets tomorrow as well. The Nets are 1.5-point favorites at home against the Wiz. I'm going to take the Wiz, unless like Jonas gets traded, Kuzma's been traded, Poole's been traded, and they've just been gutted. I think the Wiz, if they're at full strength, can win that one. Philly on a back-to-back host Miami on a back-to-back. So we know we'll get no Joel Embiid. I kind of don't mind Miami at home with Maxey, but if Paul George plays, maybe. Miami, though, Hero, Bam, on a back-to-back on the road, I'm just maybe going to stick with Philly. Maxey might have an absolute all-time game here, so let's go Philly plus 1.5. They got a big, like that Dallas game, as I said, was really good. Good job by Philly. Memphis, Toronto, the Grizzlies should kill the Raptors after the Raptors lose today. Grizzlies 8.5-point favorites are going to go the Grizz. Chicago go to Minnesota. There's a team that I've not sort of mentioned in this trade chatter to try and surround your man's Ant-Man with like something a bit better. Maybe Julius Randle gets shifted off. Maybe they get something in return. I think that'll be sort of hanging over them. Chicago on a back-to-back, rested Minnesota on the road, but 10.5-point underdogs. Chicago? Why not? Like, there's just a little bit of oomph to them at the moment. Levine's gone. Everyone's playing a bit free. Let's go the Bulls plus 10.5. Utah hosts Golden State. Utah are plus 5.5. We saw Utah play a very, very, like an amazing tank job the other day, right? In that loss to the Pacers, 112-111. But they kicked the crap out of the Magic game before that. The Warriors are just a bit of a mess. I think they'll be very in flux. Let's go Utah plus 5.5, especially on the trade deadline, right? I think, maybe Johnny Cumbucket or Moses Moody or someone will be on the move. Andrew Wiggins is not going to that game. They actually announced that they sort of showed who was going onto the plane, and it wasn't that many people. So might be a bit of a trade in the works. Just saying, it's probably already been announced overnight if you're listening to this. But I'm going to go Utah plus 5.5 right now. New Orleans go to Denver. Denver kicked the crap out of them the other day. The Pals just, I want no bar of it. No DeJounte. No chance. Let's go Denver minus 10.5. Then we have OKC hosting Phoenix. No Kevin Durant for the Suns. It's the Devin Booker, Brad Beal show. Hooray. OKC minus 12.5. I'm going to take that. I think they curb stomped the Suns. And then finally, Orlando go to Sacramento. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan together again. Orlando have lost 9 of their last 10 games. The wheels feel a little bit off. I can't quit you, Orlando. We're going to go Orlando plus 5.5. They have to pull this together at some point, don't they? Anthony Black just has to shine a little bit. Paolo's just been missing a million shots. I think they bounce back and get a big win against Sacramento. Oof. Even if Levine makes his debut. Let's go the Magic. And there you go. That is it. We've got a huge trade deadline approaching. By the time we have tomorrow's show, who knows what will have happened. KD could be anywhere. The Warriors could have made a big move for somebody with half their players not on that road trip to Utah. So keep your ears and eyes peeled and make sure you subscribe to NBA Straya. Just saying. We'll have plenty to talk about. So make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. Get around NFL Straya, myself and Gaz as well. We have our big live show coming up on Monday for the Super Bowl. You can watch the live stream if you're not in Melbourne. And if you're in Melbourne, come hang out and drink some tins. Watch the Soupy. It's going to be awesome. Trust me. It'll be awesome. Get around the Cricket Today podcast, the AFL Today show, as well as hold all tickets for your GGs. Rate, review, star, subscribe, all that stuff. If you haven't done all that, what are you doing? Comment, like, all that sort of gear. Jump on it. Apple Podcast, Spotify. If you jump on the YouTube as well, jump in the comments there, throw them out. That really does help. Would appreciate it. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS X, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes that you hear throughout this show. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you go listen to them wherever you listen to your tunes. And of course, if you want to follow all the picks that we had, as I said, 5 or 7 today, follow us over on the old Dabble. Click on the links that we have in the every morning in the the drop-off vibes and all that sort of gear. It's also in the show description. So just click on that link, code NBA Straya, and off you go if that's your thing. All right, we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads, for a massive trade deadline. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be chaos. Cannot wait. We've got 11 games as well. It's going to be a big show. So better strap in. All right, this is NBA Straya saying look after yourselves, would ya? And let us at night.